Hi, and welcome to the Dingers Podcast, episode 32. This is Mitch. I'm here with my boys, Kevin and Jeff, and our special guest tonight, the director of morale, Frederic. How's it going, guys?
Not bad. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you doing, Dom?
I'm good. Thanks again for having me. I'm excited to talk to you all, and season's close.
Season is close. So how long have you been the director of morale?
Yeah, so it's been the 8th season. Over time, I don't know. Clearly, as things have progressed on, the shticks and everything become more and more prevalent. So I'd say at the beginning, I was just a guy kind of tweeting, and then as things start to catch on, like I was saying, becomes more of what people are accustomed to today. So yeah, I mean, I've been tweeting about the Cubs. I was back when we had Vine in 2014 and 15. I was making a lot of Vines back when like the MLB wasn't so strict with its video policy. I was doing that, and then it kind of transitioned into what it is today. So 8 seasons, coming close to 10. So it's been a long ride, but it's been a lot of fun so far.
Nice. What do you think's led you to be so popular with the Cubs fandom?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say, something that I specifically am, words that I live by on Twitter is, like, I try to be as unique as I can be. I really don't want to copy anyone else. I try to be as, homegrown and, original as I can on a consistent basis, and I feel like that unique style, which is, how I am, resonated with people, and the fact that I am just generally a very positive person, almost to a fault. I think other people appreciate that, considering they just want to enjoy baseball. So it's a little different compared to your regular mainstream media or, pundits that talk about the game, analysts. So I guess people have resonated to it. They like the uniqueness of it, and then I don't know, some of the shticks or whatever the jokes I've had over the years have caught on, and it's kind of, again, turned into what it is today.
So, Dom, have you been a lifelong Cubs fan?
Yeah, I grew up not far from Wrigleyville. My parents were Cubs fans. I played baseball as long as I could throughout my life, and luckily enough, I was always able to go to Cubs games and was around the stadium and so on and so forth, and grew up around a lot of Cubs fans. So I just kind of, transitioned into whenever I started Twitter, tweeting about the Cubs, and that carried into, what we see today. And like all fans, you like to tweet about the team or you like to talk about sports, and that's something I like to do. So it just transitioned into that.
So, growing up, who was your favorite Cubs player?
Favorite? It's a good question. Definitely Sammy Sosa, because at that time, I was in my formative years, and the fact that we had a player who was hitting, home runs on command and was just out there doing things that we had never seen before. I religiously stand up for the guy. I'm not saying he should be in the Hall of Fame or that he's one of the greatest players of all time, but I feel like his importance to the team, even back then and today, for a lot of fans, is why people are Cubs fans. So I don't think there's ever going to be another Sammy Sosa. He was unique. He was different. He was charismatic. He was electric, all wrapped into one. And at the same time, he had a ton of flaws, which made him interesting. Especially when you look at him today as like a character. But he was my favorite player. I'm not saying he was the perfect player. I'm not saying he was the perfect human being. But probably I don't think I'll ever have a player like Sammy come around in terms of me liking him.
Right. No, I totally agree with what you're saying as far as him as a player and as a person. And a lot of people, they only want to talk about the player, and they totally forget that he's a human being, just like the rest of us.
Yeah.
So, what do you think it means to be a loyal fan?
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I think I get criticized for it a lot by saying that I maybe am too easy on the team at times, or I'm too positive, or I don't really tell it like it is. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I do think I spin it in a specific way, and the reason why I say it is because I think loyalty comes down to you showing up on a daily basis, you watching the games, no matter where they are in the standings, or what the score is during a game, or in the playoffs that they go down early, like you're not just leaving or whatever. I think the loyalty comes in there, and while you may be frustrated with the moves that they've made, for instance, this offseason in particular, you also are you have this more or less this blind faith that things will work out. I'm not saying that's the case for every franchise, but I think when you have a franchise like the Cubs and the resources that they have and the people that are in charge over the course of time, more likely we're lucky enough to have things work out our way just because of how the economics of baseball work. So, but I think just the people that just ride it out. I mean, I say it all the time. There are so many fans that are put in more effort or are more loyal than myself because they live in Wrigleyville. They won't live anywhere else. They'll rent out their studio apartment and live there the whole life, and they'll use whatever last dime or nickel they have to pay for season tickets. It's incredible. And those are the people that I admire, and I would say are even more loyal than myself. So hopefully maybe one day I can get to that point, but there are some special crazy Cubs fans out there that are different from any other fan base.
Yeah, I think that's the dream, to get to that point when you can go every day and be down around that area, go hit up the bars, go walk around the stadium, go sit in the grass, just enjoy the atmosphere all around.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I say it all the time, but it's just a different place, and there's nothing like Wrigley Field. There's nothing like the Federal Landmark.
Yep. So I've followed you on Twitter for a while, and I've loved to see. And I mean, you hear all the hot takes from the pundits, from the reporters and bloggers, even. So I love that, especially when I need it. Like, there's a lot of times like I'm feeling the same way those reporters are, but then I read some of your tweets and it's like, okay, yes, perspective. Let's have morale. Let's be positive about the team. Like, there's so much things in life that can bring you down. It's like, enjoy the game of baseball. Get back to when I was little and just enjoyed watching a Cubs game with my grandpa. It's like those type of things. It's like you do a great job of bringing people back to that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I try to do. Again, that's more of that's honestly how I am. And again, I said it before, it's almost to a fault at times where maybe I'm sugarcoating it a little too much. But overall, I mean, there's so many fans that just watch baseball to get away from their stress that they feel on a daily basis or whatever it may be. And I think it's important to allow people a space to, whether it be crack a joke or just enjoy the game, whatever it is. Yeah, I want to win. I want to see the team do well. I want to win another World Series as a fan. But you have to be realistic with what the expectations actually are, like how are the rest of the league doing and all that type of stuff. So I do like to put it into perspective. It helps myself looking at the team. And I don't mean to lead anyone on in any form or fashion. It's actually what I think. But at the same time, like, I recognize that things have to change, and there are some different moves that could have been made that would have helped the team out in some form or fashion. But overall, that's what I'm trying to do, is just create a positive space, create a space where people can share their thoughts. And I'm always interested to hear what other Cubs fans have to say, because it changes my perspective at times in terms of how I should look at the team.
So you have a new assistant to the director of morale.
Yes,
and
I do.
Your boy just hit a home run today too to lead off the game.
Yeah.
What job responsibilities do you have with this new director of morale?
That's a great question. I don't want to bury the lead, but there's something that's coming probably within the next month or so that him and I are both excited about. And depending on how it goes, I'll be able to share a little bit more information. But overall with Ian, I mean, he's awesome. I try to. I mean, I know I'm biased, but as I've gotten to know him, and at the beginning when I first went on the podcast, when we first started talking, it was kind of a joke about like building a relationship. Not saying I didn't want to, but it was more of like a joke. But we've actually have built a relationship, which has been a lot of fun. He's a great guy, and I mean, I wish people could see it, but he's just all about morale. He's all about it. He's just like a regular fan, man. That's locked into everything that's going on and is appreciative of the jokes and the shticks and all that type of stuff. So
yeah, we're big fans of Ian.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, I never thought that I would have gotten to a point like this with an actual player on the team, and honestly, now I'd like. I forget that he is on the team because it's like because when we talk, it's just like I'm talking to a friend or whatever. And then he's out here hitting home runs. So yeah, I mean he's awesome. He's gonna be definitely implementing a lot of morale into the clubhouse. Try to get a couple more guys on board. And again, I think you all will understand once the big news breaks within the next probably less than a month. It's probably like 3 weeks. So we're excited about it.
Do you have any other job openings? I mean, maybe we want to apply.
Yeah, it's a good question. I always say because people ask me a lot. And honestly, I have a few. People will be surprised, but I do have a good amount of people that work with me on this. Now, I come up with all the tweets and all the stuff, but I do have a couple people that run the morale account on their own. I don't really touch it. And honestly, for people, since you brought up the question, like I'm always looking for people that are funny, people that can cultivate an audience, someone that understands the shticks, can come up with their own stuff. And those people that I've found have done a really good job helping me grow the brand, if you will, whatever you want to call it. But I'm always looking out for it. You
have morale athletes. Do you have morale podcasts? Like we could be a morale podcast.
Question, but I have to, I'm very thankful to be here, but there are also some other podcasts that I've been on, I don't know, 13 times, and it would be hard for me to just cut them out at the knees like that. So again, I'm not trying to shun you away, but I'm also there is a pecking order. That's all I'm going to say.
I get it.
That makes sense. What is one rule change that you would make to the game to improve engagement or excitement around baseball?
Am I back?
Yep, you're back.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Here, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep. Can you hear us?
I don't think you can hear us.
Oh, no.
Test. Can you hear? Is Dom there?
Every time we have a guest.
Are you there, Dom?
Hello?
Something popped up in the private chat. Can you hear me?
Are you both answering? Who's faster? Who's the quicker draw here?
Mitch wins.
Did you guys watch the game today at all?
I did not. Still working on how I'm going to watch the game.
Yeah, that's one question we need to ask is, like, I love Marquee and I love everything.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Yeah,
can hear you.
I can't.
Can you hear us? Row.
I don't know how to answer then.
Because
hello?
Read lips.
Test.
Hmm.
Here, how about I remove you?
And then hop back in.
Yeah.
So I just switched to AT&T streaming, and they carry the Marquee network. It's basically DirecTV streaming is what it is.
Right.
But they just call it AT&T streaming. So I went that route. Oh, hey, look.
Hey, can you hear us now? Nope.
It's those other podcasters, man.
Yeah.
they were listening in to that question.
Just
Poor
cut it.
Dom. He's in a trunk. Going down Lower Whacker right now.
Hey, did you guys happen to see the Tom Verducci article that he released this week about pace of play?
No.
Is that the one you sent to me?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can you hear us? Test.
I still can't hear you guys.
Oh, no. So anyway, this pace of play, Mitch. What about it? Are they going to go to a pitch clock?
Well, like a little bit what they talked about was all the rule changes that they put in place this last year, like speeding up like a pitch clock and those type of things.
You guys hear me now?
Yep, can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can't hear you.
You can't or you can?
I think he said can't.
Oh, what?
Here.
Do you got an idea, Mitch? Are you brushing your teeth?
Do you want me to leave the show and I can try to hop back in, or?
Yep. Okay, so I just kicked him. Okay, and then see if he...
Uh-oh. So yeah, I read through that pace of play article, and yeah, Mitch was talking about it. They did all those things last season, and it actually like extended the game, made it like a little bit longer. They used more pitchers per game. It was like 8.9 was the average.
All right, I
now,
can hear you now.
Now you can hear us? Okay.
Now I can hear you. Sorry, I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's fine. We always have bumps in the road.
Yep. Just like Marquee Network.
Yeah, I know, right?
There's bumps in the road, man.
Don't get me started, yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Like, I love Marquee. Like, I love that we get to... I mean, now I get to watch it. That I switched to DirecTV.
Yeah.
But, like, the games not being on this spring has been... It's like, come on. Your whole network is for the Cubs. So, like...
Dude,
we hear your takes. I love it.
I mean... Listen, I preface this all by saying, and I try to say this each and every time, the people at Marquee, I'm a major fan of. There's so many people there that have supported me and have reached out to me and been friendly, so on and so forth. So I want to make that clear. It's not about the people that work there. It's about the decision makers. It's about the Ricketts family,
Yep.
Crane Kenny, whoever. The fact, and again, if you've been following me, you would understand that I'm as understanding of what's going on with COVID and all the protocols and everything. I'm not belittling that at all. But at the same time, there are other broadcasts out there that do home and away games that are being interactive, that are being proactive. And the fact that Marquee has, I don't know the direct number of games, but has, whether it be 50%, whatever, where they have games going on and they're showing women's college basketball, or they're showing bowling, or they're showing rugby, whatever it is, or weightlifting. It's like, this cannot happen. You need to have some type of show, some type of plan. And I get it that it's spring training. I understand. But it has to be better. And it's just the fact. It's just the reality of the situation. And I just don't like the fact. I'm not a big fan of people that just sit back on their hands and just be like, oh, well, I can't do anything about it. It's like, you can do something about it. You can come up with something new. You can service the customers that are paying for this product. Like, get it done. And again, it's nothing about the people that work there. It's all about the decision makers. And for me, I don't like the fact that for 2 years straight, I've now had to make excuses for this network. First off, last spring training where they couldn't get a deal until opening day. Now they don't have the games on TV. It's just like over and over and over. Hulu. It's not on Hulu anymore. It's like, it's terrible. Figure it out. Be better, because you promised the fan base. And I was at the Cubs convention the night that Rick had spoke. It was the Friday night. He said, we want to have a better relationship with our fans, and that starts with the Marquee Network. If you're going to have access to things that you've never had before, and that has not lived up to, the expectation that he set. So that's unfortunate, considering there's so many fans. Again, I try to be understanding of the people that don't have the money to, whether it be pay for Xfinity or pay for all these other services, and are, again, using every nickel and dime they can to simply pay for these things so they can watch their favorite team. And then when you have spring training, it's like every third game it's on Marquee. It can't happen.
Right.
It's unacceptable. And the fact they haven't said anything about it either drives me nuts.
So, speaking of Marquee, we had, Len Casper, I feel like he's the voice of my childhood, has left.
Yeah.
And now he kind of did you dirty.
Yeah, that was messed up. That was so messed up.
Like, who's this director of morale from the White Sox? Get out of here.
You know what? There have been so many people that have, tried to play off it or make their own Dom, whatever it is, which is, again, it's fine. There's only, again, I know my ego is through the roof when it comes to these things. I understand the ridiculousness of what I'm saying, but there's only one Dom. There's only one me. There's going to be no one that's going to be able to replicate it to the fullest. So, whatever. The guy wants to do it, fine, sure. But the fact that Len Casper, who, you know what? It's just the whole video pissed me off, because he even says it in there. He's like, you know what? I hope you guys are nice to me on Twitter. And he's like, I'm aware of this, tournament that's going on online. It's like, oh, really, Len? And you're telling me for the last year who I was, Len. And the fact that he just goes on and is like, oh, whatever, oh, hey, do this thing, cameo spot, whatever, getting paid for it, is a joke. There's no loyalty there. And everyone's going to say, you know what, Fred, you're being a little too harsh. You're being a little too crazy. And to those people, you just don't understand. When I'm out here grinding every day, 365 days a year, if you follow me, you know I put my heart and soul into this for the fans, for all the people out there, and for people like Len Casper, because I'm the one who takes the heat. I'm the one that, carries everyone on my back, so to speak. And the fact that he can't even show a little bit of respect, if I was him, I'm not taking that cameo. I'm deleting it. I'm saying, no, I'm declining. It's not happening out of the respect of not only myself. I understand that what I'm saying right now is ridiculous. I get that my ego is huge. But,
no, I love it.
But
I'm
there's
good with
principle to it. And the fact that he's not respecting that is a joke. And again, to my point, I had big leaguers texting me yesterday saying, Len did you wrong. That was a shame. That's all you have to know.
Well, while we're talking about beef, I want you to explain your beef with Christian Yelich. Because I have beef with Ryan Braun, and so I want to hear yours with Yelich.
Well, Yelich, this is a long-standing so it really goes back to 2000. What year was this? 2018. Really by happenstance. It was kind of like a coincidence. So Cap, I remember I was at my job and Cap tweeted, who is I've known Cap for a while now. Cap tweeted something about Yelich and not wanting to play on a Sunday against the Cubs. It was late in the season. He tweeted it. And I basically just took Cap's tweet and tweeted it for myself, and then added a joke to it, whatever. Yelich responds. He's like, "That's not true," and I kind of stuck with Cap's word on it, and just kind of doubled down and was like, "All right, well then defend yourself. Why wasn't the case?" Wouldn't do it, so on and so forth. Then a week later is when the Cubs lost in 163, and that piled it on with all the Brewers fans. Fast forward a year with Yu Darvish saying that no one needs
bad
help
news
facing you. That turned into bad news, and now to the point where Christian, who he has to put on the bad news shirt if he ever wants to really hit well again, he goes out and hits 205. Bad news almost wins the Cy Young. It's perfect case in point to what him saying was ridiculous. in and of itself. And I've said publicly, and he knows, that if he ever wants to, I mean, I'm doing this for his sake. Like, if he wants to start playing well for the Brewers to have a chance at a championship, he has to put on the Bad News shirt. Even though Bad News isn't on the Cubs anymore, it's like he has to get it done. And over time, and again, as things progress, like, but I'm telling you, this will happen, and he's getting backed into a corner that he just can't get out of. And there's going to be more and more people that are getting involved on it, even though it might be like dead now because Bad News isn't on the team anymore. But I'm telling you, like, it's going to happen sooner or later because he is backed into a corner. So that's essentially what happened. That's like whatever. It's almost a 3-year thing now. But going back to the Len, God, I'm just so pissed off that he did that to me. It's just ridiculous, and it's a shame. And again, I'm very tolerant of people. Like, there's so many people that hate what I do. You know what? And I'll just be like, whatever. I'll let it roll off my back. But it's the things like that, when the people that just play dumb and are like, oh, well, I don't know. Like, oh, I hope they like me on Twitter. Like, shut up, dude. Shut up. Shut up. And it's just, I cannot stand it. And again, I will never forget that. He lost space until he apologizes, which I don't think he ever will. So he's Len Casper, no space in my book till the end of time. And the fact that he just flopped over the other side, like, oh my God, just like one breeze in the wind, and he's just all the way on the other side of the it's disgusting. I hate it.
I like Boog anyway.
I love Boog. I'm all about Boog.
Yeah, Boog's the best.
I love it.
Yeah. So, getting back to baseball, Dom, how big of a year do you think Chris Bryant's going to have?
Good question. I mean, I'm a huge believer in Chris. Listen, he has to be healthy, and it's like when he's not healthy, he's bad. I guess that's, kind of case in point to, you have to be healthy to play good. But overall, it's like, it's such a weird spot, and I just hate where the team and him are. It's just going forward, and I've said this a bunch, like, you hear from Javi Baez or Anthony Rizzo, like, I want to be a Cub, like, I'll do anything to be a Cub, like, I'll negotiate, whatever. And then Chris Bryant, it's like, I'll listen to the offer you offer up, and then we'll see what happens. Instead of like, hey, I want to be here, hey, I want to do this, hey, I want to do that. It's just kind of like, all right, I'll stand my ground. If you want to send me an offer, I'll look it over, and then I'll get back. And it's just such a weird place. He's been on the trade market for so long. I think they've tried so hard to get rid of him. So it's like, at this point, it's like, if he's healthy, great. But at the same time, it's like, where's he at mentally? I've been told from multiple people that, like, again, I'm not putting anyone on the spot, but, like, he probably wants to have a fresh start somewhere for him to get off the trade block, and get off, like, all the rumors. Like, there's been plenty of people that have been like, yeah, he probably wants a restart. And I totally understand that. So, I mean, I believe in the player. I believe in his offensive abilities. He's versatile. He's turned into a really good defender. So, in a vacuum, it's like great, but there's the mental aspect, and then, obviously the physical aspect of him simply being healthy. So I hope he has an awesome year. I hope he extends. Do I think it's going to happen? I just don't see it going on, especially when you're talking, like, I find it so funny. Like him and this, and again, all these players have every right to say what they say. But again, it's so interesting being like, one of his best friends, Bryce Harper, is like, there's going to be 29 teams waiting to sign him at the end of the year. Instead of being like, hey, I hope he works something out with Chicago, or we'll see what happens. He's like, blatantly, like, 29 teams will be, vying for his services at the end. It's just like the consistent rhetoric of, me looking on the outside in, like, where his team and his agency are in terms of, standing their ground in terms of what they want from an extension. So we'll have to see. But as the days go on, I just feel it's less likely that he's going to be a Cub, even past July, and I hate to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really felt like the Cubs organizations had a foot out the door as soon as he won the MVP. Like every year, it comes up and it comes up and it comes up.
Yeah, I mean it's been 3 solid years that he's been on the trading block.
Oh, at least.
It's just like, and I hope personally, and you know what, the Cubs have every right to do it. Chris Bryant has every right to stand his ground. Like, it's business, I understand, but I hope this is a case in point for whether it be the Cubs or future franchises not to handle your franchise player in this specific way, because the fans don't like it. It doesn't look good on the organization. It doesn't look good on the player. There are no positives from it. And the fact that Chris Bryant has to come out and say, well, there was no $300 million extension, or there was no this or that. And it's just so awkward. It's so weird. And it's put everyone in a weird spot to where, unfortunately, you start choosing sides on like, oh, well, are you a Cubs guy and think the Cubs know what's best for the team? Are you a Chris Bryant loyalist? And it's just frustrating. I found myself like in both camps, or, you know, trying to split the middle, but it's just tough. And I think both sides can learn from how they've handled the situation moving forward. And hopefully it's a case study for teams and players in the future.
Well, we had this question last week, a fan question of if we were to extend 2 players, only 2, what 2 players would we extend? So I'll shoot that one to you.
So is it just from like the core 4, or is it
anybody
on the team?
Anybody on the team.
So it makes it hard.
I have 2 guys, and I have 2 guys, and I think a lot of people are going to say you're a homer and you're incredibly biased. I probably am. I think Anthony Rizzo number 1 because
the captain.
He's just, I mean, yeah, he's so consistent. And I think he's going to be one of those Jim Thome. I'm not going to say Nelson Cruz because he's like out of this world, but like one of those like big-bodied corner guys that can just do it for a long time, and whether it be Big Poppy, whatever. Like these guys that can continuously produce, and he's
and when you look at the Cubs minor league system, they don't have anybody at first.
Yeah.
Coming up, it's like, okay, we need Rizzo to sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's just so consistent. The 2-strike approach, the contact abilities, the power, like he can do it all. And alongside the community efforts, the philanthropy, all that stuff. And it's just it's special to see. And then finally, I know people are going to say I'm biased. I'm extending Ian Happ because he's 26. He can play multiple positions. He's shown that he can play center field. He can play on the infield. He's a switch hitter who hits for power. And I think overall, I'm not going to speak for him, but I think I don't think he's not asking for the world. I think he just wants the opportunity to negotiate or have the chance to even it be brought up by the team. And so I'm extending him because, and you're probably going to say, well, why not Javi? When Javi's really bad, he's really bad. And it's just, I'm a big fan. He's so electric. But when it doesn't go well, it's really bad. And it's just really hard to trust him in those situations. I know he's improved. I know he's a world-class defender, but I just don't know if I want to put my entire eggs in that basket, especially if I'm only having the chance to sign 2 of them or extend 2 of them. Yep. And then overall, I just think Chris Bryant, I just think it's not going to happen. I would, in a perfect world, I would, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And I feel like, I hate to say this, but I feel like if they extended Chris Bryant and the Cubs have one bad year, he's back on the trade block again. And it's just this continuous cycle of, well, what's the deal, this and that. And he's gone through it for so long. I really believe, as I've said before, as people have told me who know, he probably wants a fresh start, and I don't blame him for it at all.
Well, when I got this question, I cheated and I chose 3. Okay. And I was your first 3. I had Rizzo number 1.
Yep.
I had Baez, and then I'm taking Ian Happ too. One, because you have Nico Horner, you have Ian, and then you have all these young guys that are going to be coming up, in the fray with an older veteran Rizzo. You got Brennan Davis, you got Amaya, you got those guys to put alongside Hap and Horner, like that's gonna be a scary lineup.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm all for it.
And again, he just can do. I know, like, I'll say it, like, yeah, he strikes out too much at times, but a lot of guys strike out. But he can play a lot of positions. He can switch hit. He's still young, and he still has it. I mean, he still, even though he got sent down, like I say it, like, he doesn't have to apologize for his career. He's been a solid big leaguer. I mean, he has whatever 60-something home runs, over 800 OPS, like 112 weighted runs created plus for his career. Like, he can do big things for this team, and I don't think he's a guy. I don't want to speak for him, but I don't think he's a guy that's asking for like another planet in terms of wealth. I just think he's reasonable. I think he'd want to get compensated for. It's not like Chris Bryant, like. Again, I think that's where I try to figure it out, and especially Chris Bryant too. What's he now? He'll be 20. What's he going to be? 29? Is he 29?
Yeah,
I think so.
Tell me.
Yeah.
He's up there.
Well, I mean, his whole career with the Cubs got off to a rocky start with that whole. You need to start in AAA this year, and then for his service time shit. Oh, hey, go ahead and come to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yep, he's 29.
29. So that's another reason too, just simply the age factor.
Yep. So what is your keys for a successful season this year? Like, who are the key players, and what just would make a very successful season in your mind?
Yeah, I think the key players. I think there's two key players and two key goals for a successful season. Two key players, I think, comes down to Bert, Adbert, Alzolay, Moralzolay, because he can be a guy who can be a solid 3, maybe even get up to like a 2 in the rotation. Yep. And he's the next wave. Like, he's the future. Braylon, like, these guys are the future, and we need them as cornerstone pieces moving forward. Like, we're almost in the same spot that we were in 2014 and 15. Like, these guys have to hit, and he's one of them. The next guy's Nico Horner because of his profile, the contact, the defense, the speed, the athleticism, the potential for him to hit the ball out of the ballpark while putting the ball in play. It's something the Cubs have struggled with. They've had a hard time finding guys that can do that because it's hard to do in general. It's hard to hit in the big leagues. It's hard to put the ball in play all the time in the big leagues. It's not easy. But he's shown that he can do it. And, I know we got off to a hot start this spring. I know there was speculation on whether or not he would stay with the team. But overall, if you have Moralzolay and you have Nico have a big year and, cement themselves as cornerstone pieces, that would be enormous moving into 22, 23, and 24. And then finally, my two goals overall. Number one, get some extensions done. If it's Rizzo, great. If it's Baez, great. If it's Ian Happ, phenomenal. If it's Chris Bryant. But we need to figure out who's going to be on this team moving forward so that young core that we've been talking about has that veteran leadership. Because we have to understand in, 9 months, these guys are going to be free agents. Anthony Rizzo, Javi Baez, like Chris Bryant. And I'll speak for myself. The fact that you have other teams that could, it could be a team that, like the Dodgers, or a team that's going for it. Say, hey, Chris Bryant, come here for, 3 years. Let's do 120. Is Chris really going to turn that down? I'd say no, because the AAV is so high. And I'm not saying you can command that, but, I mean, if you're a team and you see Chris, like, it's not you. When you're negotiating against other people, you're not negotiating against yourselves. It gets tricky. And as a fan, like, once they're in that situation, there's a very good possibility that they leave.
Yep.
And then finally,
I'm pretty sure that he would accept some money and go play in a boring city if he was getting paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be ugly.
And not to knock the guy, and I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but I think one thing that, and again, if Chris or whoever want to take this the wrong way, fine. Just know that you should know that I support him to the fullest. But I think, looking back at it, I think the problem was with what's all gone on is that he was a guy that went the Boris route. It was like, I'm going to get this amount of money, or since I'm a Boris client, like, I'm going to change the game, the way the economics work in baseball. Like, I'm going to be a trendsetter, what have you. But when you do that, you get and again, he has every right to do it. I support him in doing so. But when you do that, you become a trendsetter and you become a guy who's going to be scrutinized. And I don't know if he was really ready for that, or if he really thought that was going to come along with it. To where Bryce Harper's like, just F you, I don't care, I'm the best. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to shove it in your face. I'm going to hit home runs. I'm going to kiss blow kisses to the pitcher as I'm rounding the. Like, Chris isn't that. Like, they're totally different people. Yeah. Again, from the outside looking in. And I think that's really affected Chris in the long term. I know I went on a tangent there, but I think it's an important point to say. Finally, my last goal, win an NL Central. There's no reason why this team can't compete for a division, even if you do trade Chris Bryant in July. Or who knows what's going to happen. But, again, unless you tell me that Nolan Arenado is going to hit like he did in Coors Field and that he's going to be a world beater, fine. But I don't see any other team out of the Central that's coming in and, are, like, blowing the doors off everyone. I just don't. The Brewers don't have it. You have the dick ballers down in Cincinnati. You got Pirates are terrible. Like, I mean, it's again, I know the division's not good, but I'm not going to apologize if they win this division. I'm not. Every season is sacred, and having the opportunity to get to the playoffs and seeing what happened is important. And so those are my two goals: extensions and win a division. I'm not saying they're a World Series team. I'm not saying they can compete for a World Series championship, but we can absolutely compete for an NL Central, and it should be on every fan's mind as we go through 2021.
Yeah, I like it. All those things, like, we've been talking up Adbert. I mean, we had Alex Cohen, the broadcaster of the Iowa Cubs. Yeah. He was in the Adbert, like, dude, this guy is lights out. Yeah. And, I mean, he's with the Church of Jake. He's getting discipled. Exactly. He's a follower of Jake. So, I mean, we've been talking about He-Man Horner. Like, we love him. And so, like, those are the two guys I say are the key as well. Like, when they go, I think the rest of the team is going to go. I think we're going to have some bounce back seasons from all of our veterans and from our core. And so put those pieces around them, and they have a good season as well. Like, it's all go.
Absolutely. Especially when you sign, I'm telling you, you get one extension. It's for fans. It's like the weight of the world is going to be lifted off their shoulders. And we haven't even talked about Wilson Contreras yet. We haven't even talked about him at all. Again, it's like the clock is ticking and decisions have to be made.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get a deal done before we break camp, I think going into the season, the whole morale of, like, fans, team, like, everything, you could see that, like, okay, we do have a plan forward.
Exactly.
We are looking forward. Right. We are here and now, but we are also looking forward. We want to win now, but we're like, okay, I mean, it would be so good. Every day I tweet out, like, happy Anthony Rizzo extension day, like, hoping that it will happen. Like, let's speak it into existence.
Totally.
And hasn't worked yet, but
that's what I'm all about. I've been speaking things into existence for 8 years.
So let's do it. Let's get it happening.
Yeah.
And I could listen to you talking about the Cubs. You just get, like, so much hype. I'm ready to go. I want to go watch a game one and can't. But go Cubs.
Go Cubs. Cubs in 4. I'm telling
Cubs
you,
in 4.
We're in a time of transition. We're in a time. Listen, I get it. I'm not saying we're world beaters at all. But if you're it's Cubs in 4. Man, I don't care who we play. If we're in the playoffs, we're playing. I don't care. I don't play if we're playing the Padres or I don't care. It's Cubs in 4, man.
All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to give you 2 minutes on the clock, and you're going to give your State of the Union morale address to get us pumped up for the season. Can you do that? Do we lose him?
I don't know.
You there, Don? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
No.
Did he refer to
me now?
the Cincinnati
Yep,
Reds?
I can hear you. Are you in there?
All right, yeah.
Okay. So,
all right,
we're going to try something here.
2 minutes. I heard you.
Okay, 2 minutes. State of the Union. Let's bring it.
All right, everyone. I know the offseason's been hard. There's been no one that's been taking the heat like I've taken this offseason. You're talking about my left fielder, my goddamn left fielder gone. John Lester Reams, gone. Bad news, gone. Theo Epstein, I mean, for Christ's sake, he was the first T-shirt I ever put out. Theo's League, gone. Len Casper, who just stabbed me in the back yesterday, gone. Listen, I've taken the heat, but even I can say that this team still has something to play for. They still have the opportunity to win. They still have the opportunity to extend some of your favorite players. And if that doesn't fire you up, if going to Wrigley North and heading in there, paying the bills, watching these fans coming in with subway tickets and gas station tickets, if that doesn't fire you up, going into that stadium and beating the living hell out of the Brewers doesn't get you going, or going down to St. Louis and beating that dumb organization, or hitting 4 grand slams off the dick ballers, or just taking it to the Pirates like we've been doing for years. If that doesn't fire you up, then I don't know what does. It doesn't mean championships. It doesn't mean World Series. It just means taking it to your rivals and the people that have been doing you dirty for a long time. I'm talking to you, Len Casper, after what you did to me. That's what I'm talking about. And again, I'm not trying to totally write you off, Len. You can come back and apologize, and I'll give you your space back. But it's for the people that have said, whether it be a Cardinals fan, a Brewers fan, that has said something wrong to you in the past. If that doesn't fire you up to beat those teams, then you shouldn't be watching the games in the first place. You should go to the library and go read a book where there's no problems and it's just life is dandy and there's no issues. If competition and competitive athletics doesn't fire you up, i.e. the NL Central in this division, doesn't fire you up, then get out of here. I don't want to talk to you, and you're a Wilbon.
That was
perfect.
That was awesome.
Right at the time.
There you
so,
go.
Cubs in 4.
Cubs
I
in
don't
4.
care we play. I'm not leaving. I'm still here. I've been here all offseason. I've taken like 100 bullets to the chest. I'm still here.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man. It's great hearing you. I mean, I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. Let's get the season going. Ian Happ, lead-off home run for the season. I'm calling it right now. He's going to lead the season.
That'd be electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, where can our listeners follow you? So, throw out your social medias and get them to get some followers.
Yeah, it's just Dom_Frederic. I'll say it to a lot of people. If you don't follow me already, and again, I think, Mitch, if you follow me, you would know. Like, it takes time for you to understand what I'm tweeting. Like, if like yesterday, if you saw me tweet out Len Casper with no space, you'd have no idea what I'm talking about. Yep. Just follow along for a while. Like, just try to understand what I'm saying. I think over time you'll come to appreciate it. Right off the bat, you're gonna be like, this guy's nuts. Like, I have no idea what he's saying. Just roll with me for a little bit. Just hang with me for a little bit. And then you'll start to appreciate, at least in my point of view, you'll start to appreciate the jokes and the shticks over time. So, yeah, Dom_Frederic on Twitter and Instagram. And, yeah, it's pretty much it. If you want to follow Morale Supply Co., that's pretty much like the alternate Twitter and Instagram page that goes along with the store. But I'm not here to plug the store right now. I'm all about the Cubs. I'm all about the team. I'm all about opening day is what? April 1st? Like, we're less than a week. We're like a week and a half away. So
we're almost there.
A week from Thursday.
Exactly. I'm fired up. I can't wait. And I'm very thankful for you all to have me tonight. Thanks again.
Yep. And you have big news that you're going to drop in a month.
Big news within more or less 3 weeks.
And I like that you're doing the Ian Happ, let's play out the big news drop for a month and really build it up. I like that you're following that.
I mean,
that roadmap.
It's big news for me. He would say it's even bigger news. It's big. It's big news.
I'm excited.
Something we've never done before, and I think everyone's going to be very appreciative of it.
Well, we'll promote it big time, whatever it is. We're excited.
Thanks.
But yeah, let's stay in contact throughout the season, and we'll definitely need you to come back on and give us a morale boost after there's gonna be a time throughout the season where it's gonna be rough, and we're gonna need a little pick me up. So we might have to stay in contact with you.
Absolutely. Whenever you need me, feel free to just reach out, and I'll hop on whenever. Sorry about the microphone. My
no,
fault.
Hey, don't worry about it.
You're good.
Hey,
God bless you and your family, and Cubs in 4.
All right, thanks,
Cubs
guys.
in 4.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep. Later.
Thank you.
See ya. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye. Well, that was Dom Frederic, the director of morale, bringing it. And man, you gotta love his passion. You gotta love what he brings. And if you do follow him on Twitter. He is great. Like, his takes are great. He gets into little beef battles with players. He has the Cubs players following him. He's great. And so
he's fantastic.
Really funny, really witty. He's great.
I really like the whole Cincinnati dick ballers.
Yeah, I think that bought Jeff in right away.
Well, I don't know if Dom's Manscaped, but I think Jeffrey is. Is that correct?
I am. And I'm glad you brought it up, Mitch, because I would really like to talk to our listeners about grooming and tools. I think the tool part is something that men can get behind. And I'm just here to tell you, and in this day and age, it's no longer just socially acceptable for women to have a nice welcome mat. But I believe that guys can also have a nice welcome mat. So just tickle your keyboard, go to manscaped.com, and at checkout, type in dingers for 20% off. And take that 1970 shag carpet and turn it into the shortcut pile that every high traffic area deserves. Manscaped.com, get yourself a lawnmower 3.0. Pitter patter.
Love it. Yeah. They've been great. I mean, we got a t-shirt, we got some boxer shorts, you get
Sack shiner.
You get that, and you get some lotion. It's great. So use dingers for 20% off at Manscaped. I love it. So we do have some merch coming. I want to throw that out there. We do have Dinger Podcast shirts that are going to be coming your way soon. We'll hopefully be able to have them for us to show you on the podcast next week. And then we are planning to give one away on opening day to one of our listeners. So if you're interested in Dinger's Podcast shirt, you be sure to listen on opening day or follow our social medias at Dinger Cubs on Twitter, at Dinger Cubs on Instagram, and then join our Facebook group or our Facebook page, Dingers, a Chicago Cubs fan podcast, for opportunity to win a free Dingers Podcast shirt. But yeah, we are with Chi City Sports. If you want the latest news on all Chicago teams, whether that's Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, the team from the South Side, or your Cubbies, make sure you go to ChiCitySports.com. They have great forums there. You can interact with other fans, and you can still get our podcasts at all the places that you get podcasts, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. Am I missing any? There's a whole bunch of them. All of them.
There are a ton of them.
They can watch us on YouTube, right?
You can watch us on YouTube. Go and subscribe to the Chi City Sports YouTube channel as well.
Twitter.
We did that one. But yeah, make sure that you check out Manscaped. If you don't know what Manscaped is, it is a trimmer for your areas, for all your hairy areas.
Undercarriage.
Don't be a dick baller, Manscaped.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that was a great episode. Dom, man, he has a passion that I love. I love talking to guys that are passionate about the Cubs, passionate about being positive, especially with you hear so many quick takes and hot takes from different podcasters and different social medias and different news articles. And so somebody to just be real and always try to find a positive and always support our players and support our team. I know it can be tough, but they are human and they need support and they need to know that they have fans behind them at all times.
Yeah.
And his comedy gets me every time.
Right.
His tweets and stuff are hilarious.
No, I mean, what a neat experience to grow up down really close to Wrigleyville your entire life. I mean, he probably bleeds the Cubby Blue more than the three of us, even though we all three grew up either listening to it on the radio or listening to Harry Carey on WGN. But just that whole atmosphere of growing up around the ballpark, and it's every day in the summer.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, next week we are doing our prediction episode and then a little preview of the first series. So if you have any predictions, last year we didn't do so well.
Nope.
Across the board.
Well, I think one of us got the record right. Or really close, but
we'll get our research team on it. I know Eric is part of our research team. He usually lets us know when we're off on stats, so I'm looking for him to tell us how we did last year on our predictions. But if you have any specific predictions, make sure you comment. Let us know what prediction you would like us to hear to talk about for this upcoming season. Man, it's right here. It's what 10 days away.
Week Thursday,
10.
Dude. Can't wait. We're going to smoke the Buccos, and Ian Happ's going to lead the season off with a dinger. Calling it.
Kevin,
all right.
You want to call in sick and watch the game with me?
We have professional development that day, so.
Oh, yes. So it'll be on.
You guys have probably skipped a few of those days in the past, eh?
No. Never.
No. Not how that works.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode, number 32 of the Dingers podcast.